Welcome to BharatLens, and today we are marking something that every Indian needs to understand, not just remember. 1 year ago, on April 22, 2025, 26 innocent tourists were sitting in the meadows of Uri Valley in Pahalgam, Kashmir. They had come for the mountains. For the beauty. For a holiday. Terrorists entered through the surrounding forests armed with M4 carbines and AK-47s and began systematically identifying and killing Hindu tourists. 26 people were murdered. It was the deadliest attack on civilians in India since the 2008 Mumbai attacks. What happened next, across the following 19 days, would permanently rewrite the rules of South Asian geopolitics. Today, exactly 1 year later, we go through all of it. What India did. Why it was different from everything before. How it shattered Pakistan's nuclear bluff. And why, 1 year on, the Indian Army is still saying that Operation Sindoor is not over. This is the story that defines modern India. The Pahalgam attack was not random. It was calculated. In the weeks before the attack, Pakistan's Army Chief General Asim Munir gave a speech describing Kashmir as Pakistan's jugular vein, and branding Hindus as fundamentally different from Muslims, an appeal to the two-nation theory that partitioned India in 1947. The speech was widely viewed as a direct incitement to terrorists and their handlers within Pakistan's intelligence apparatus. The Resistance Front, a proxy of the Pakistan-based Lashkar-e-Taiba, initially claimed responsibility for the attack twice. TRF released a statement that the attack was in opposition to non-local settlement in Kashmir following the abolition of its special status. India's response was immediate and total across every dimension, not just military. India suspended trade ties, imposed diplomatic measures, placed the Indus Waters Treaty in abeyance, the treaty that had survived 3 India-Pakistan wars and was never before suspended, and barred Pakistani nationals from traveling to India. The Atari integrated checkpost was shut. Military advisors at Pakistan's High Commission were declared persona non grata. These were not symbolic gestures. Suspending the Indus Waters Treaty gave India full control over western rivers like Jhelum and Chenab, enabling construction of new reservoirs in Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Punjab, and Haryana. Pakistan called it water terrorism and an act of war. And then came May 7. On May 7, 2025, India's military executed one of its most consequential operations in over 5 decades. Operation Sindoor, a direct response to the Pahalgam massacre, destroyed 9 terrorist launch pads across Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir in under 23 minutes. Indian armed forces carried out precision strikes on 9 major terrorist camps linked to Jaish-e-Mohammed, Lashkar-e-Taiba, and Hizbul Mujahideen. Over 100 terrorists, including handlers and trainers, were reported killed. The targets were not arbitrary. Sites like Markaz Subhan Allah in Bahawalpur and Markaz Taiba in Maridki were the nerve centers behind some of the most heinous attacks on India, including the IC-814 hijacking, the 2001 Parliament attack, and the 26/11's Mumbai carnage. India's electronic warfare systems reportedly jammed Pakistan's Chinese-supplied air defense network. Indigenous platforms including the Akash missile system intercepted retaliatory drones and projectiles. Subsequent exchanges damaged roughly 20% of Pakistan's Air Force infrastructure. Pakistan's Director General of Military Operations reached out for de-escalation within days, leading to a ceasefire agreement on May 10, 2025. The military conflict between the two nuclear-armed neighbors lasted nearly 88 hours. 88 hours. That's how long the most significant India-Pakistan military confrontation in 3 decades lasted. And it ended because Pakistan asked to stop, not India. India has struck Pakistan before. The Uri surgical strikes in 2016. The Balakot airstrikes in 2019. Both were significant. But Operation Sindoor was fundamentally different, and it is important to understand exactly why. In previous instances, India exercised restrained force, symbolic of resolve, yet avoiding striking deep into Pakistan's mainland. This time, the response was fundamentally different. For the first time, India struck the headquarters of Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed on Pakistani soil itself, not just in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Operation Sindoor was the subcontinent's first non-contact war, marked by technology-driven kinetic activity involving missiles and drones. Neither side physically crossed the other's territorial space. It showcased India's military and technological superiority, restored strategic deterrence, and unveiled a new security doctrine. In the context of 21st century geopolitics, the significance of this moment is no less than the Russo-Japanese War of 1904, which marked the arrival of Japan as a great power on the global stage. That is not hyperbole. That is the assessment of defense analysts who have spent their careers studying the subcontinent. And the most important thing Sindoor achieved was something that cannot be measured in destroyed camps or killed terrorists. It shattered a myth that Pakistan had built its entire strategic doctrine on for 30 years. The most significant achievement of Operation Sindoor was posing a fundamental challenge to Pakistan's nuclear doctrine. By treating terrorist attacks originating from Pakistani soil as acts of war, India signaled its intent not to let Pakistan's nuclear capability deter it from using force, thus carving out space for military action below the nuclear threshold. Pakistan has long relied on the belief that its nuclear weapons can be leveraged to offset India's conventional military advantage. This belief became the foundation of Pakistan's proxy war against India in Jammu and Kashmir, secure in the conviction that India could never respond conventionally without risking nuclear escalation. Operation Sindoor called that bluff. India struck. Pakistan did not go nuclear. The bluff was exposed. Operation Sindoor established what analysts now call India's new red line: state-backed terrorism will be met with punitive military force. The operation also marked a shift in doctrine, India asserting that future terror attacks would be treated as acts of war, blurring the distinction between terrorist groups and their state sponsors. In plain language, Pakistan can no longer use terrorism as a free weapon against India and hide behind nuclear threats. That era is over. Sindoor ended it. So where do we stand today, exactly 1 year later? The Indian Army is unambiguous. Top Indian military leaders have asserted multiple times that Operation Sindoor still continues, and that the country's military preparedness must remain at a very high level, round the clock, throughout the year. Pakistan, meanwhile, has undergone a remarkable transformation in the global imagination, becoming the peacemaker in Iran-US negotiations, earning praise from Trump, Germany, and the EU. An LET commander reportedly stated in a viral video that the Pahalgam attack propelled Pakistan's international standing forward, contradicting Pakistan's previous denials of involvement, and suggesting that the attack positioned Pakistan as a potential mediator in global peace talks. Let that sink in. A terrorist admitted that the attack that killed 26 Indians helped Pakistan's diplomatic standing. And the world, distracted by Iran, by oil, by trade wars, rewarded that standing with handshakes and thank you calls. Donald Trump has now claimed more than 90 times that he personally ended the India-Pakistan conflict. India has consistently denied that Trump played any significant role, insisting the ceasefire was achieved through direct communication between the two countries. And on the first anniversary of the attack, Prime Minister Modi stated, "India will never bow to any form of terror. The heinous designs of terrorists will never succeed." Israel, Australia, the EU, France, the UK, and the United States all issued solidarity statements with India. 1 year. One attack. One operation. And the entire strategic architecture of South Asia has shifted. India proved it can act. Pakistan proved it can spin. And the world proved that it has a short memory. Which is exactly why channels like this one exist. To make sure Indians don't forget what happened. What was won. And what must still be protected. Comment below. Do you believe India should respond with another Operation Sindoor if Pakistan strikes again? Or has the new red line been enough of a deterrent? Let the world hear your answer.